All right, all right, all right. Okay, there we go. We should be good to go. Let me pop this out real quick. There is the notification, and we live, baby. What is up, everybody? I am late. I was talking to my wife, had some things we needed to talk about. And sorry I'm late. She has lunch at 12 o'clock, so we spend that time together. And then I had something else to do at 1. So here I am. Got it going. We're going to play the theme song at the end. I'll cue it up so we'll be ready to go. Welcome to Spike Kool-Aid for October 2nd, 2023. Your Detroit Lions sit in first place of the NFC North, and it will remain that way until at least week 6. But I think it's going to remain that way even after week 6. We'll talk about that during the show. There's a wide receiver on the market that I've already made a video about, and I knew it was not going to do too well, but we're going to talk about it on this channel as well so we can get some live feedback. A ton of receivers got hurt yesterday. As a matter of fact, 2 of the 3 that we keep mentioning, or 2 of the 2 that we keep mentioning got hurt yesterday. Will that change the plans of the Detroit Lions potentially at the trade deadline? Also, the move that I think they're going to make at the trade deadline, I think Brad does have something planned. What is up, Robbins? Oh, and one more thing is I will let you know on Friday's show if I'm going to the game on Sunday. Can't try to remember what day it is, man. If I'm going to the game on Sunday, shout out to my man Dylan, man. What's up, Robin, Nick, Will, Eduardo? What's going on? Patty Grimes in the building. What's up, Cruising? Who else? Braylon, David, what's good? The intro, I decided not to play it since I was late, and it'll push the show back just a little bit. It will be at the end for sure. Yes, Jameson Williams returns today as well. That's right. That happened after we had our show on Friday. So we're probably going to talk about, I did not see that. Sorry, y'all, super duper thirsty. Man. I meant to watch that. It came out at 12, and like I told you, my wife has lunch at 12, and I spent time with her during that hour. So I did not see. So if y'all got any nuggets from Dan Campbell's press conference, then be sure to let me know what they are. I would appreciate that. All right, let me go ahead and minimize this because I need to use this. Oh, and for those of you who don't know, if you are subscribed to the Gridiron Blitz, which is my first original channel, I am now streaming on Twitch under the same name, the Gridiron Blitz. I might even move over there permanently. YouTube is shadow banning multiple creators. I have no idea what they're doing and why they're doing it. Maybe because the NFL, it only seems to be NFL games. So my streaming kind of life sucks. So I'm going to dual stream on both YouTube and Twitch with the potential of leaving YouTube altogether when it comes to streaming the game. So we'll see about that. What's up, Kevin? What is going on? Braylon says, keep Claypool away from this team. Let me tell Mr. Poole just to let him know. He asked me to let him know when I was live. All right, give me a second. All right, so Hatter's House in the building, 1021, woke up, and thank God they freed my dog. Hey, so let me ask y'all in the chat, if you could have 5 Detroit Lions on the shirt, who would you want them to be? One has to be Jameson Williams. Let me know. Maybe I'll put out a poll on my community post as well. Coach said J-Mo and Iman will take it slow. So what do you think that means? But let's do this first. Let's get right into it. We'll go right into it. Oh, let me send that message. All right. So the Detroit Lions are going to have Jameson Williams back, and we're all ecstatic about that. But I have a question for the chat when it comes to wide receiver. We have been talking about a wide receiver for literally months. Do we need one? Can we use one? And the answer seems to be yes. Now, I made a video about this guy on my other channel, but we're going to talk about it, get some live feedback on wide receiver Chase Claypool. Now, you probably know my answer already. I personally don't think the Detroit Lions should go anywhere near this guy, and I don't think they will, but I want to get your feedback. Chase Claypool is going to be, in my opinion, waived. Now, I went into detail on my other channel when it comes to his salary and all that stuff. Mike Payton with A to Z Sports mentioned Chase Claypool, a conditional 7th round pick, which would require Chase to play 40% of his snaps for that to be to turn into a 7th round pick. If he played less than that, then it will be nothing for the Detroit Lions. Now, in reference, he said that DJ Chark played 46% of the snaps on the Detroit Lions offense last year. And if you remember, DJ Chark missed several games, was put on IR once. I want to say he played, 11 games. And right now the Detroit Lions have 13 left. So if he was to come within the next 2 weeks, would he be able to play 40% of the snaps? So I don't think that Chase Claypool fits. He might find himself in the XFL. I think he's going to be waived. He would have to clear waivers for the Detroit Lions to even entertain him. And me personally, I don't think that even a trade or waivers, Chase Claypool will be on this team. But I wanted to know what you guys thought in the comments below. Robin says, okay, when you say Claypool doesn't fit our culture, what part of the culture don't you think he fits in? That's a real good question, 10. Chase Claypool has zero grit. He has no grit. If you think about our team, right? Even your favorite guy, Jamo, right? Gritty, right? Gritty. The whole team is gritty. Chase Claypool, while he plays the game of football, is he a football player? I don't think he is, right? Dan Campbell says football players. Our entire team, from the quarterback to even the long snapper, is full of men who are gritty. You go in and our team is an underestimated gritty team. Chase Claypool is about the glitz, the glamour, and the TikToks. I just don't think he fits on the team. Hunt You says Claypool a bum. Steelers don't trade wide receivers for no reason. That is true. I can see that. What's up, Zeal? Says Kevin says get Chark back. Robin says CFL, send him home. J-Mo Hutch Montgomery. Okay, I'm not familiar with his game, honestly. Yeah, Chase Claypool is a young guy who had massive potential. I remember picking him up on my fantasy team year 2 that he was in the league. Year 1, 800 plus yards. I think year 2 was up there as well. And then year 3, he kind of fell out. He fell out of favor with the Steelers. In mid-season, they traded him to the Bears for a 2nd-round pick that turned into Joey Porter Jr., that first pick that they had in the 2nd round. So for me, I don't think Chase would fit on this team. That's one Chase I don't think would fit on this team. We're going to talk about the other one probably later in the show. But I wanted to show you, okay, as we look at his salary. And this is the part, to me, that fits Brad Holmes, but this is the only thing that fits Brad Holmes. Chase Claypool will be a free agent at the end of this year. So he literally the Bears have already told him not to report, that he was not in the stadium yesterday, and they told him not to report. That's why I think they're going to waive him. And one thing about let me cut back to me real quick. One thing about when you announce something that you're going to trade someone, why would they take the bait? They're looking. So according to what's his name, Ryan Pace has been calling people to try to get a 5th or a 6th round pick for him. You are desperate. If you put it out there, you're desperate, right? So no, why would any team move on Chase Claypool? But if we look at he's super cheap. He's super cheap. And this was coming into the season. This is not currently what it would be after 4 games, right? And he's not going to play game 5. So it's going to be even less than it would be after 4 games. So I don't think that the Detroit Lions are going to trade for Chase Claypool, but I wanted to get you guys' instant feedback on that. Let me see what the chat is saying. Says Chark is hurt in Carolina. Get Jefferson from Minnesota so long as we were wishing. Well, I'm not wishing. I'm trying to be realistic. That's who was hurt. That's who was hurt. Devontae Adams. T. Higgins. I knew it was 3 wide receivers. Devontae Adams was hurt. Mike Evans, hammy. Devontae, shoulder. T. Higgins is his back, I believe. His hip. So it's shoulder, hip, hammy. Evans, Higgins, Adams. So now, and that's what makes Chase, I want to call the dude Claypool. Chase Claypool a little bit more intriguing. I still don't think we take the bait. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, so I need to really watch. I try to watch that before I go into a show, so I'll know it, but I haven't seen what Coach had to say, and it would be too long to pull into the show. Yeah, because how long was it? He usually talks for about 10, 15 minutes, right? Now, Jefferson that's not going to happen. Would still trade for Adams, says Robin. I want to see more Green instead of Marvin. Yeah, that's why I put Marvin lost behind on the thumbnail. Trying to, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? But hold on, let me bring something up. Okay, what was it? Because we got to talk about that as well. All right, so the Detroit Lions, we got to talk about this, man. We had first of all, shout out to the fan base of this. I'm sorry, I'm doing too much. Shout out to the fan base of this channel. The videos lately have been blowing up. They've been taking off. The video from, what was it, yesterday, about 15, 16 hours ago, hit almost 10,000 views, man. And it was one that I thought was going to be the weakest. So I appreciate everybody on the channel. I watched your video about our record, what our record would be at the bye week. And honestly, I don't see us losing a game. Bucks aren't a threat if we pressure Baker. I cannot talk this afternoon. I agree. The thing about it's two things about there is being in Tampa, bro. That's one. And it just falling into a trap. But Mike Evans, if he has a hammy, he won't be there. That means you got Chris Godwin, and who else do they have, right? So are we really afraid of their running back? No. So this is going to be, what's my water? It's not the one I brought down here. Oh, here it is. So this is before, this was going in, this was from Friday, but we got to talk about another guy. What's up, Larry? And hey, Ravens don't convince me either. I'm sorry, y'all. I am super thirsty today, man. Nothing quenches like water. My favorite water is Smart Water. Just started drinking it a little while ago, but that's right. That's right. Something happened Friday, and I want to talk about it because we didn't get a chance to talk about it on Friday's show. Something happened Friday. It was 4 o'clock. I just picked my kid up from school. I come home, and I get a push notification. And it was confusing. It had to do with the NFL gambling policy. So I talked about this on my live stream. I get a tweet from Twitter X or whatever it's called, right? From Ian Rappaport. He's saying that the NFL has the NFLPA pushed for this updated gambling policy, right? It's not part of the collective bargaining agreement. It's something separate. They push for it. I think too many people was getting suspended. So long story short, I see this. I'm like, you know what? I'm about to talk about this. I'm about to go off on the NFL. I'm going to talk about them. Free J-Mo. Within 5 minutes, I get a tweet saying Jameson Williams is free, that his suspension is over today. So he officially today was able to report back to Detroit Lions camp, thus Dan Campbell talking about him in his press conference today. So I got like a couple questions for y'all. Couple questions. 1, do you still think we need a wide receiver with the return of Jameson Williams? 2, how effective do you think Jameson Williams will be against Carolina? A confusing thing was to me is I thought I was very clear on what was happening, but there was a lot of confusion as to what the process was. It was like somebody said I was clickbaiting. Somebody said we already knew this, that Jameson Williams was able to play on Sunday. that he was fully reinstated. I don't understand why that was so hard for me to get across. Maybe I didn't do a good job of doing it, but there is nothing holding Jameson Williams back. As a matter of fact, I think even his hamstring, he's had a month to heal now, actually 5 weeks, because remember, he hurt it in that second game against Carolina. So he should be good to go on Sunday. Robin says, we all celebrated. Free at last, free at last. Can never have too many. I'd imagine he doesn't play that many snaps, says 10. Sure, 2 catches, 85 yards, and a touchdown. Scott says, yes, we do still need a wide receiver. We are good. Run what? What? So here's my thoughts. Jameson Williams got speed, right? Utilize that speed. I would like to see how much he's been working on his hands. He had all the time in the world. Well, once he healed from the hamstring. So let's say he got hurt in the second preseason game, right? Second preseason game, he's hurt. Maybe you can still, with a bum hammy, you can still be on the jugs, right? Was Jameson Williams on the jugs? I don't know. Hopefully he like worked on his catching. But when he comes back, my thing is the boy can run. He might not be able to catch like that yet, but he can sure run. We can incorporate him into the offense somehow. I would like to see that. And it's not that I don't trust Dan Campbell. And again, I have to hear the press conference, but what was told to me is that they're going to bring him in slow. I'm just like, okay, all right. I don't think my expectations are too high for J-Mo. We just want to see him. And we know that he can affect the defense. So if I'm Dan Campbell, he going to play a lot of snaps because just him being out there is going to change the defensive coverage. Larry says, I hope he plays a little since I'll be there. T. Stay says he just got to catch. The NFLPA sent this memo to the agents regarding updated gambling policy, saying the NFL moved on some common sense points, but more changes are needed. These changes reflect a positive yes. That is verbatim what I read today. Derek need to throw... Use him as a decoy like the first game he played. They could do that as well. I think you have them available. You already had some packages for Jameson Williams, right? Before he got hurt, before the suspension even hit, you had some ways you were going to use him when he returned in week 6 or week 7. I'm sorry. We just got a 2-week. It got pushed up 2 weeks. So whatever you had for him week 7, implement it week 5. That's all you have to do. We need to pass more in general. So you think that we need to pass more. Okay, Roman, I see that. I'm going to pin that comment. What's going on? So the question that we're having, if you're just joining us, is Jameson Williams. How much of an impact will he have in week 5? I think you got to put him out there. Putting him out there will be an impact. That's what I think. But I think you got to use him. You got to use him. I hope the way they put him in is not babyish. We need to stretch the field, and he can help us do that. Roman says, I bet he'll play 50% of snaps. So if you get 70 to 75 snaps a game, that means he plays 30 to 35. I can take that. If we go up big versus him early, there's no need to throw. That's what Well, we have to talk about that too. So let me know your thoughts about Jameson Williams. How good is it to have him back, and what impact do you think he'll make on the team? All right, so that's what... Okay, so Roman said this, and we'll talk about that as well. Grid, is it unrealistic to think we go 15-1? I bet we can beat the Cowboys easily. Their offense isn't that good, and they can't score in the red zone. I actually cut that game off yesterday. You know who's terrible? Mac Jones. I heard a very specific Patriots fan I listened to, and he went off today. He was done with Mac Jones after 2.25 years. Done with him. And I'm like, not looking too good for that 2021 quarterback class. No, if we get big, let's keep messing up my bets. Dern says these 10 days of practice are huge. That is true. You know what, Dern? He only got Jameson, however, will only have 6 because he couldn't officially come back until today. But the fellas had the last 3 days off, and they officially report back today. J-Mo better be out there. He will. He will for sure. What's up, Josh? Says we were passing, then thought we were destroying them, and the game was out of reach, so we started running the clock out the entire second half. Now we got all week to talk about Carolina, but Carolina is in trouble. That is for sure. All right, so I saw this watching Dan Campbell's press conference. The only thing I picked up on was that he said it wouldn't be fair to play J-Mo for 60 snaps. Same with Mosley if healthy. Yeah, I mean, that's the whole game. You're talking about pretty much every offensive snap. I say line him up first play on offense and go deep after that. Run your offense the way you would have before. That wouldn't be bad. I mean, who would really see that coming? Who would see the first play of the game, play action pass to David Montgomery, and Jameson Williams goes deep? Think about this. There is 0 film on Jameson Williams in a regular season game this year. Think about that. That's actually not a bad idea, bro. They could catch everyone off guard with that. You know who's surprising me, but also making me mad? CJ Stroud. He is going crazy. And now I don't know, Laporta sniffing that rookie of the, yes. But you know what? I think CJ gonna start goofing up. I know he hasn't thrown an interception. He has no turnovers either, like no fumbles. And he right now, yeah, he probably would have to have offensive rookie of the year for sure. I know he just won AFC rookie of the week or something like that. I went to pick him in fantasy and Grid already have him. Darn, you weren't even paying attention, bro. He was my last pick. I took Jameson Williams, my last pick, bro. You weren't even paying attention to the draft, man. How many sacks does Hutchinson make this game? I say another 2. Grid, are the Dolphins frauds? That's a very good question. I'm going to say yes. They haven't really played anybody. They beat up on Denver. They got beat up on by the Buffalo Bills, who just has their number. And I think it was too early for people to start crowning them. They got a lot of, if you think about the Dolphins, man, they don't have gritty players on their team. Tyreek is a smart player. He's not very gritty. He avoids contact at all costs. That's not, no grit involved. Do you think Holmes will look at our D-line production and be like, we good? Miami isn't a fraud. I disagree. They are frauds until they show me that they can get to the playoffs and win a game. I wouldn't say the Dolphins are fraud. They almost won a playoff game with a backup QB last year. Man, okay. Okay. They almost won a playoff game with a backup QB last year. You know who were frauds last year? The Buffalo Bills. But we could have a whole NFL show, which I might start, by the way, on my other channel. But the Dolphins, man, I mean, okay, let's get off the Miami Dolphins because we got different opinions and I don't want to make this a Dolphin show. I might be at the game as well, waiting to see if I can get a ticket on last call after the first drive. Oh, Derwin, like you did last year, right? Vikings were frauds last year too. That is correct. I'm in on that show. Minnesota, the true frauds. They were, but we already knew who they were. We already knew who they were. We haven't won a playoff game. Yeah, but nobody's crowning us either. But keep pushing me, Unknown. Because I'm feeling some type of way today, bro. So keep on pushing, poking the bear, man. If I told you we could go into the bye with 1 loss, that's what I want to talk about. Is it realistic to think? I think it's unrealistic to think that we're going to win to go 15-1. The Lions, you're going to lose a game. Like, to me, that's unrealistic. However, 13-4, I don't think is unrealistic at all. My ceiling was 13-4. My floor was 11 and 5. 11-6. I'm sorry. It's been a long morning. I'm a fan of you, bro. I just think Miami is capable, brother. I mean, okay, all right. Let's take a pause from the Detroit Lions. Okay, yesterday, let's look at the Miami Dolphins. Let's see what they did. Okay. The Miami Dolphins have had How many first-round picks in the last 5 years? And out of those first-round picks, they either don't make the playoffs or they get bounced out. Now, they almost beat the Buffalo Bills were a shell of themselves last year. They were, okay? And let's not forget what happened before that playoff game. What happened? What happened to their safety? Damar Hamlin, just a week before that, was literally DOA. He was dead, okay? So that whole they almost beat with a backup QB, that stuff is okay. All right, so let's look at the Miami Dolphins. Who did they beat this year? They beat the Chargers by 2. The Chargers were 0-2 until week 3. Now they're 2-2, right? They beat the Patriots. The Patriots are not a good team. They can't score more than 17 points a game. And then they beat up on the Miami Dolphins. Can we really say that they're something? Come on, man. This, to me, who did the Lions beat? The Lions beat the Chiefs. We should have beat the Seahawks. We beat on the Atlanta Falcons, who are frauds, by the way, right? They're now 2-2. And we beat the Green Bay Packers, who also frauds. So you could say the same thing about us. We beat the Kansas City Chiefs, though. Yeah, okay, no asterisks. But to me, bro, what have they done? What have they done? The Chargers were 0-2. They lost to the Chargers in week what? 1? Okay. The Chargers are good. Brandon Staley is just the bottom of a head coach. Okay, so that's like saying that's an oxymoron. So what are we talking about? He's good, but so he is the coach of their football team. He would take a good team and turn it into nobody. Miami will have the chance to beat Philly and KC. I think it's just too early. To me, he asked the question, were they frauds? They haven't beat anybody. But when they played an actual team, they got mollywopped yesterday. It wasn't even a competition. The Bills have like the number 2 defense in the league. So they played a defense, and all of a sudden, Miami, Waddle, and Hill disappear. The Chargers roster is really good, but held back by coaching. That I can agree with. But to say they're a good team, but they have a bad coach, I don't think you can have both. Dolphins are a 6-7 seed. They'll make the playoffs, but not host. So anyway, that's just what I get from it. Okay, I respect your opinion. I'm just like, the Dolphins, Tua's this, and they and then they play a team that has their number, just like the Seahawks have ours. They get beat up on. It wasn't even a game. Hill was rendered useless. He had all the points. Mostert fumbled 2 or 3 times. I mean, you put a defense on them and they unraveled. So to say that they almost beat the Bills with a backup quarterback after the Bills literally almost lost the player, you know what I'm saying? I don't think that's even fair. And then the Bills didn't even show up against the Cincinnati Bengals. So they were never the same after DeMar. So that's just let's see what the Dolphins can do. I will say this about the Dolphins, and then we'll move on, is the Miami Dolphins have had, what year was that they had 3 first-round picks? Then they got a first-round pick last year from the whole Tom Brady thing, and they should be way better than they are. Their offense is just now catching up where their defense was a couple years ago. The Miami Dolphins should be better than they are. That's why Brian Flores was fired a couple years ago. So I don't know. I just think people ready to, if you want to crown them, crown them. That's all I say about them. The Bills in the upper echelon of regular season teams, they've always been like that. I wouldn't say the Dolphins are frauds, though. Last year, the Dolphins barely lost. Okay, I already addressed that. Dolphins had 1 good game. Now they're going to the Super Bowl. He said 13-4, but hasn't said the other 3 losses. Okay, we're talking about the Lions now. All right, let me pull up their schedule. I just pulled it up. If you're talking about he as in me, then yes, I'll pull up their schedule. I think we are chippy this Monday. All right, so let's pull up the Lions schedule. Let me bring it over here so I can see it, because I can't see it currently. Okay, so what do y'all think? What do y'all think in the comment section? Who do you think? Okay, hold on. Let me move this over here. Put this over. Is that because we didn't get to watch our team yesterday? Is that why? All right. Lions losses. Okay, no. Detroit Lions. Why are they giving me the 2021 season? Lord. Okay. Let me pull this over here so I can see it. Oh no, we all chippy, bro. But that's all right. Here's what we're gonna do. We're going to come back at the end of the year and we're gonna talk about it then. That's what we'll do. Okay, so who do the Lions lose to? As the chat disappears. Let me pop it up. Hold on. If the Lions, I said their ceiling is 12-4. Okay, they lose to a team they should beat, which is essentially every team on here. Okay, so Lions will beat, this is my opinion. I think we beat the Panthers. We get revenge from last year. I think the Bucks game is something we have to worry about just because it's one of those games that we should win. The Ravens, I don't fear the Ravens. With the Ravens, I still got that whole 66-yard kick. But I think we beat them. So who do we lose to? We could drop the Cowboy game. That's in Jerry World. We know how that goes. We lose a game we should win. Maybe we lose one to the Vikings, maybe. And the Chargers. I just don't know if we could, if they have, well, they lost Mike Williams, but they still got Keenan Allen, Palmer. I just don't know if the secondary can hang with those guys. So I would say Chargers, maybe one to the Vikings, Cowboys, or I don't know, man. I think we beat the Saints. I don't think we lose to them. I don't think we lose to the Broncos. I don't think we lose to the Bears. I don't think we lose to the Packers. So by the bye, I think we're 7-1, 6-2, and then we come out of the bye and possibly lose to the Chargers and lose to one and the Dallas Cowboys and maybe one other team. Yeah, if we lose to the teams, if we lose to the Chargers and Cowboys, that would be 14-3. Man, that makes you super giddy, bro. So, yeah. We beat the Saints, Broncos, and Raiders. Is Kirby back? He should be. We're betting on the Zebras. We will lose 2 to 3 games after the bye, says Hunt U. Okay, so how many before? We only lost 1 last year, and we are much better. Okay, 10. I agree. However, this is what I came to the conclusion this morning. We have to let last year go. You know what I'm saying? Like, last year is last year. Every team is different. You know what I'm saying? So I think if you're looking at this team, we just can't seem to win in Dallas, but I could see us doing it this year. I feel like Minnesota, we could drop one of them by something stupid, and then it's either between the Raiders and Chargers that we drop one. Roman says we go 15-2. I have us sweeping the Vikings. Okay, let me hear y'all prediction. Win says 14-3, which means the Lions can only lose two more. Yes, Bryce Young is playing. San Francisco, based off the first quarter of the season, will only lose 4 games this year. Fresh. That will put them at 13-4, which is exactly what I said. What is that? That's exactly what I said. We win all our primetime games, including Thanksgiving. So, by the way, the flex games on Sunday could start this week and going into week 5. So after today, Thursday games are not the ones that's flexed. They can put in some Thursday games as December rolls around, but the Sunday night flex can start as early as week 5. I think the Detroit Lions will be flexed into a Sunday night game. Okay, 5-2, we take the North. we might get flexed in LA. Oh, after the bye week? Who's living in last year is living in last year, period. I think we get a Sunday. Yeah, because all they would do is put us in the prime slot. You should host a tailgate one day. It would be fire. You know what? I'm going to go to Easy's. Easy's tailgate. Yeah. Okay, so we got all week to talk about this. But check this out. I saw this from Pride of Detroit. According to Pride of Detroit, says week 5 opening odds. Lions favorite over Panthers. Detroit's biggest line since 2017. I think, and see, I think this is a game that we have to be careful about because we are supposed to destroy them. I think personally we do. But according to Pride of Detroit, says the Detroit Lions -9 are back at home in week 5, hosting the Carolina Panthers +9 in a game that may mean more than it appears on the surface. Says with the Lions 3-1 riding high atop the NFC North and the Panthers 0-4 yet to win a game, the folks over at DraftKings are favoring the Detroit Lions with a -8.5 point spread, the biggest spread in the Lions' favor since week 10 of 2017, when Detroit was a 10.5 point favorite over the Cleveland Browns. That team would go 0-16. The Lions would go on to easily cover that spread, winning by 2 touchdowns. That's why. Am I scared about this game? I'm not. I'm more nervous about Tampa Bay because of the heat, and I don't know, man. Has Baker lost to us? I don't think he's lost to the Lions. So I'm more worried about that game. This game here, even though they ran all over us last year is last year. We have a top 10 run defense, and I don't think that they run over us this year. I think we're going to destroy Bryce Young. I think we might even knock him out of the game because this dude is in a horrendous situation, which is actually going to lead me to a different segment as well. Kevin says, stop talking about losing. I will not stop talking about losing because that's not what I do. You're in the wrong. I'm not going to jinx the team. That's not what I'm going to do. So that's not how that works. The Bears are 0-17. If the Bears go 0-17, they'll set a new NFL record for losing, 16-1. See, are we really? Listen. So I'm having a feeling y'all sound like y'all getting a little bit comfortable with predicting these wins. So we have the biggest. Remember, because I don't want to go back to last year. I just want y'all to be careful with underestimating a team. They can catch us on a bad week. You never know. I don't think that's going to be the case this week. I think at Ford Field, a game I hope to attend, that we are going to destroy them. I think that this team is much better than last year. I don't think that the Carolina Panthers, are nearly the team they were last year, even though they have our old running back coach and our old wide receiver, who may or may not be hurt when he plays us. So, but to get comfortable, I don't want you to start just spitting out all these wins because you're going to be disappointed if we drop 1 or 2. Unknown says 24-3. Kevin, I talk about what I want to talk about, how I want to talk about, and in whatever fashion I want to talk about it. So I'm not going to talk. I'm going to give you my opinion, whether you like it or not. So it's up to you whether you want to watch. That's how that works. How many catches J-Mo have against the Panthers? Not sure. Roman says, okay, so give me your score prediction because I'm hearing that we're going to beat the Panthers. We're going to beat so when is our next loss? That's what I want to know. When do we lose again since we're winning all these games? Okay, I never get comfortable because it's the Lions. No, we don't listen. No, we all on the same team, bro, but that's not how this works. Trust me, this is me breathing. You should watch me during the game. I'm not going to have somebody tell me how to run my show. In addition to that, I'm going to tell you, see the thing that and this is part of the segment, but you have multiple creators that you can watch Okay. David Pike will not ever back off Jared Goff because he will back up what he says with his stats, right? I am not a wavering creator. You have particular people you can watch to do that. I'm not one of them. Okay, a lot of people come with this negative stuff. I'm not being negative. I'm telling you what I feel, and that's how that is. Okay, I'm not telling you how to feel, so don't tell me how to feel. That's how that works. Baltimore is a loss. We lose against the Chargers. Maybe 1 L to Vikings. That's it. 15-2. So okay. So we've already overlooked the Carolina Panthers. I think we have to be careful, y'all. We have to be. I'll tell you this. I'm sitting there watching the game on Thursday, and it was the most confident I had been. And I'm never confident watching the Lions game. We win. We're up 27-3. We see what started happening in the third quarter. But I am adamant that we will not lose this game. But running through these teams, I'm not sure we do that. I just don't want y'all to get y'all hopes up. Do we win the North? Yes. The North is in our control. It's us. It's our division to lose. Okay. Do we make the playoffs? Absolutely. So that means we host a playoff game. As a matter of fact, my dream scenario is this. The Detroit Lions are the 3rd seed in the NFC. And guess who the 6th seed I have as the 6th seed? The LA Rams. The LA Rams are going to be 6 or 7. We're going to be 3 or 4. Unless we're better than that. I'm not too sure yet. 49ers are up there. Eagles, I don't know what kind of team they are. They going to drop one eventually. Same thing they did last year. They're going to lose to a team they should beat. It's going to happen. And Matthew Stafford and the LA Rams come to Ford Field in what will be our first playoff win. I have us winning that game. But anyway, the line over Carolina, the biggest one since the last time we were in front of the division, which was 6 seasons ago. Jim Caldwell's last year. Think about that. Think about the last time the Lions were the leaders of the division was Jim Caldwell's last year. Now, I don't want to go back in the past, but things fell apart that year. We went 9-7. I don't think that happens this year. The team is different. The coach is different. The narrative is different. The Detroit Lions. Do I think they win against Carolina? Absolutely. But we got to be careful that we don't get too high on ourselves and just think we're going to run through the NFL. Saints are not too bad either. Come on, every single game left is winnable. I mean, this is right. We beat. So wait a minute. Hold on. Where are we at? Am I talking to Lions fans in this chat? No, Tiger, I don't watch them. All right, so let's have a discussion. This is going to be a continuation of a discussion we just had. Lions fans get a taste of winning. Now, I want to remind you of something. You've been watching me for years, whether it's been on this channel or a different channel. And I remember saying something very specific to Lions fans. Some of them last year, some of them the year before that. One thing was we're not taking a quarterback. Another thing was stop the tanking talk. Y'all was willing to do anything it took for Jalen Carter. I'm another guy who stood firm on the fact that we were not taking Jalen Carter, and we didn't. Now we get to a point, and I'm looking in the chat, that the Lions are just going to run through these teams. And I want y'all to be realistic because I'm realistic. I live in fantasy realm sometime because it's fun. You think about a Devontae Adams being on your team. How much better would our wide receiver core be? You think about a Quinnen Williams being on your team. How much better would our defensive line be? Dude was beasting yesterday. I wish we had one of those guys. But at the same time, is it realistic to think that the Lions are going to run the table? No, it's not. It is not. It is reasonable to think that we could drop one game per month. If you look at our schedule, a lot of winnable games on there. But you know what else was a winnable game? The Panthers from last year. Now, again, I don't want to go back to last year, but it happens to every team every year. There's a game you should win, but you lose. And not only do you lose bad, right? We thought we were going to beat the Panthers. They ran all over us. Once that team could be somewhere in one of these bunches. I know we can beat anybody. I said yesterday after watching the Eagles and after watching the Kansas City Chiefs struggle with Zach Wilson that the Detroit Lions can hang with anyone, including the San Francisco 49ers. That is a team that I don't know if we beat, especially on the road. They're tough. They got all the pieces we need, but we're tough too. But I think they're just a little bit further than we are right now. Could we upset them? Yes. And I think, yes, the Detroit Lions beating the San Francisco 49ers would be an upset. I'm not as confident as y'all might be about the 49ers on the road. But are we getting a little too high on the winning? Let me remind you that the Chicago Bears, they have lost 14 in a row. There was a time that was our team. Now, I'm not trying to take you in the past. What I'm simply trying to say is Dan Campbell has been saying for months that to quiet the noise, focus on the team, right? Meaning his players, don't listen to all that stuff. We know who we are. We know what we can do. Have Lions fans got a little too tipsy off the Kool-Aid? Have we got too tipsy off the Kool-Aid? Hunt says we absolutely cannot hang with the Niners. We need a better D-line to hang with them. I ain't scared of the Niners, but it's any given Sunday. If we lose, we not bulletproof. We're not tipsy enough, says Unknown. Okay, what does that mean? What does that mean? So we're realistically saying in the chat, okay, let's do a poll. We're going to do a poll because I think this is going to be good. Can the Detroit Lions go? So what are we talking about? 15-2 or 16-1? What am I putting in here? Is it 15-2 or 16-1? You know what I'll do? I'll put them both. 15-2, 16-1. Or should I put 14? I'll put 14-3. And then we'll let this run for about 3 minutes. All right. So let's see what the chat is saying. We're saying the Lions fans are doing the most, would never swear there were Super Bowl contenders. Neither. 15-2, 15-2. Neither. I'm drunk off the Kool-Aid. We can lose just like any other game or three. 14-3, 14-3. They are going to go 11-6. We says I can't vote. The difference between arrogance and strong belief. You got to be realistic because I thought we would beat Seattle after beating the Super Bowl champs. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The Detroit Lions' highest win total has been 12 games. Highest win total, right? Now we are a quarter of the way there. We still have 13 games to go. A lot of these games, they do present themselves as winnable, but as we go, because you know good and well, St. Brown go down, we gonna panic. Jared Goff go down, we gonna panic, right? If players go down, we're going to panic. So I think that it's reasonable. It's cool to be confident, but we can't get too ahead of ourselves. Should we beat the Panthers? Yes. Should we destroy the Panthers? Yes. But I don't want to say that any game is a given. We should do the Panthers worse than we did the Green Bay Packers. On paper, that's what should happen. Will it happen? It could. And even if we do, it's on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and then the Baltimore Ravens and then the Las Vegas Raiders. So I think we need to take one game at a time. It's fun to do predictions and stuff like that, but we get a little sample size of winning and now we're just running the table. And I think that is unrealistic. Let me know what you think down below. Teddy going to play versus Carolina. Okay, Roman, so I saw your question. David, I saw yours as well. Roman was asking about an Everson Griffin type player that we could get. I myself want us to trade for one of two defensive ends. That's what I would want. One game at a time, says T. Monty is my favorite. What's up, E? Says, on paper, we're not going to power over a stronger team, in your opinion. I'm tired of the Lions being habitual losers. NFL is also a lot like martial arts where styles make up fights. Broderick Martin, I don't know what they're waiting on. I do not know. He's been inactive for 4 games. I have no idea. Okay, let me see how long we've been on because I got to go get the kid, and I barely made it the other day. All right, so we got 10 minutes left exactly. Let's get one more segment in, and I think this is going to be a good one. All right, so I want y'all to tell me what you think. I know I've been a little chippy today. It's nothing personal at all. I don't believe in the Miami Dolphins like that. That's all. So, all right. So the Detroit Lions they got 5 sacks against the Green Bay Packers. They got 7 sacks against the Atlanta Falcons. They have 12 in their last 2 games for a total of 13 on the season. Hutchinson has stepped up after we were just talking about him too after the Seattle game. Like, where is he? Now we come along to week 5. The defensive line has been dominant. You know where I stand on this. I want to know where you stand on it. The trade deadline is coming, and we've discussed in several videos that should the Detroit Lions be buyers at the trade deadline? And I've expressed my opinion that I think that is a yes. Now, the 3 wide receivers that we might have had our eye on, from Devontae Adams, Mike Evans, and T. Higgins, they all sustained substantial injuries yesterday that could keep them out multiple games. So I think that kind of throws a fork in that a little bit for either one of those guys, with Evans being probably the most realistic choice. So I'm going to shift now to a defensive player. Should the Detroit Lions make a move for one of these 2 players? You have Brian Burns on one hand, and what did we want to happen? The Detroit Lions play the Carolina Panthers in week 5. We're going to win. I'm confident, not cocky, but I'm confident we're going to pay them back for last year and also take out the frustration from Seattle on Bryce Young. He's in trouble back there. So that points me to their star defensive player, Brian Burns, Agent Zero, like my homie likes to call him. Or then you have the other side. 2 weeks ago, we were hearing Washington Commanders are 2-0. They're not trading Chase Young. Well, that changed mighty quick. Now they're 2-2. Now they're just average. The Washington Commanders are just average. Which of the 2 of those individuals would you want? Now, I have no stats pulled up on either one of these players. I don't think Burns got a sack or Chase Young got a sack. I think they're I know Burns had 5 going into game 3, I think, and Chase didn't play game 1. I think got a sack and a half game 2. So do you think we could use a defensive line player? And do you think it should be a DE or a DT? And who would you like it to be? All right, so Wee Man says Burns. Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me see what this was. I forgot to say what the results were. I messed up. Okay. Burns. Okay. I don't know if y'all was here on Friday, but we talked about it in Friday's show. Burns is going to require a 1st round pick. Let's get a little freaky here. Okay. Let's get a little freaky in this segment. All right. But not that type of freaky. Okay. This is not going to happen because the Carolina Panthers do not have a 1st round pick in 2024. And guess who got the first picks? The first 2 picks in the draft, the Chicago Bears. They're literally picking 1 and 2 right now. So I was going to say, let's introduce a 2025 pick, but the Carolina Panthers aren't going for that. And the Detroit Lions are going to be good for quite some time. So they're going to be picking the bottom 3rd of the 1st round, right? That means for Brian Burns, you are going to have to give up a 1st round pick. It's going to have to be in 2024. Are you willing to do that? Then you have Chase Young on the other hand. Chase Young is probably going to get you a mid-round pick. That's what I think. I think 3rd, 4th, maybe 3rd and then a conditional 5th or 3rd and 5th coming up. Chase Young. Max Crosby, 6 sacks. Chase Young. I don't know. I've heard Max Crosby. I don't know what he's done this year. I need to look him up. I don't want to give up a first for anyone right now. Carolina Panthers screwed up with the Young trade. I don't think we're going to do that, Roman. Crosby is a Dan Campbell type of guy. Okay, so we got a late addition to the bunch. So let me look up Max Crosby because he's somebody we haven't talked about, and then we'll end the show after this. Let's look at his salary because I think that's going to make a difference. So Max Crosby is a Dan Campbell type of guy. Why? Why is he a Dan Campbell type of guy? That's what I want to know. Okay, so Max Crosby. Now, I know a lot of you in the comment section, y'all gonna be like, we need to just stay the course. We don't need to trade away anybody. And I hear you. And yes, our general manager could be thinking that. I personally don't think he's thinking that. I don't. It's all from that press conference. I keep going back to that we're ready to compete. He's always trying to make this team better. The TJ Hockenson trade at the time did not seem like it was going to make our team better, but it did. It did make our team better because TJ is a hot mess. All right, so Crosby on the season has 4 sacks. What is his salary for the 2023 season? Let's find out. Contract. Well. All right. Max Crosby he just turned 26. Brian Burns is 25. Chase Young is 24, if I'm not mistaken. So then he's the oldest of the bunch. You also have okay, here we go. All right. I will give you my thoughts on Crosby after I bring this in. Okay, let me get rid of that. I'm going to bring this in. And I'll give you my thoughts on what I think the Lions would do out of these 3 people. All right, we're going to read here. Max Crosby signed a 4-year, $94 million contract with the Las Vegas Raiders, including a $13 million signing bonus, $53 million guaranteed, and an average annual salary of $23.5 million. In 2023, Crosby will earn a base salary of $7,500,000 and a restructure bonus of $10 million and a workout bonus of $100,000 while carrying a cap hit of $12 million and a dead cap value of $47,000. $47,000. Is that a typo? That's got to be. Wow. Well, maybe that came from the restructure. Okay. So here's why I don't think we would trade for Max, because this year you're talking about his salary right here. So I don't think we do that. But he just signed a mega deal. So if we traded for him, we would have him for the next 4 seasons or the next 3 seasons. That's the only reason I could see us doing this. But I don't think we do it. He's the oldest of the bunch. Right now, Brian Burns have more production than him. He's younger. He has a higher, to me, I just think Burns have a higher ceiling than Max. So I know y'all like this dude, but I think out of all of the scenarios, and I used the wrong transition. There we go. All right. So out of all the scenarios of those 3, I think the most likely is Chase Young, because the asking price for him is going to be in the mid tier. I think his contract next year is going to be mid to none. And then with Burns, you're going to have to pay him and you're going to have to give up some draft capital. So I think the most logical is probably Chase Young. I don't think Max is going to fit in due to his salary, but he would be under contract for the next 3 years. Let me know your thoughts. Okay, if I don't read your comment, it's because I'm doing a segment. I don't want to get thrown off. Okay, we'll wrap the Okay, so that should have been 47. Okay. Oh, I see it. Yeah, 47 million. You're right. You're right. The comma threw me off. But you're right. It was 47 million. Greg, got to remember when the Rams offered 2 firsts for Burns and the Panthers said no. Are you willing to match? Okay, so Roman, here's my retort to that. Everybody keeps bringing that up. That was a while ago. Brian Burns can walk next year. Plus, they were trying to overpay. They were trying to overprice him to not have the Rams get him. Now the dude can walk, or he can be put on a franchise tag and never play for them again. So, or you know what I'm saying? Pull up Brandon Jacobs and stuff like that. So I don't think they're going to get 2 firsts. I don't think they're going to ask for 2 firsts. And they're definitely not going to get it. But the Rams are like the one team in the NFL that would have done that. They're the one team. Maybe they get another Super Bowl out of it. I don't know. Should run a poll for 3 players. We could franchise Burns. We could. Yeah. Throw them a first and a future third. Okay. I would give a first for Brian Burns. I really would, because Brian Burns would be here for 4 or 5 years. You could have Hutch and Burns, man. I really think Chase is the more logical option. So we'll see. But Panthers are going to have a fire sale right in the middle of the season. And I just think Dan is going to pull the trigger. But that's just me. How long have we been on? I think we went over our time. But to anybody that I was chippy against today, I apologize. I wasn't trying to be. I don't think I got enough sleep. So, you know, that can make. Listen, I will have an NFL show on my other channel. Maybe even make an NFL channel. We can just chop it up about the entire NFL. I got no problem doing that. But yeah, man, with that being said, I got to go get the kid. I will see y'all Wednesday. Yeah, tonight is going to be Giants versus Seahawks. See that game? You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you on Wednesday. Peace. Go Lions.
Hello, good morning. Horns is blowing, and I'm pissing off the neighbors. Whether home grown or imported, we feeling shorted, cause we waiting on our paper. So next time, when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time, when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, when we get back on our feet. Yeah, you don't know about the D, you don't know about the streets, cause when you're in the Motor City, nothing is as pretty as the hustle. You don't know about the D, you don't know about the streets, cause when you're in the Motor City, everything ain't pretty, but it's love though. Next time, when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time, when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, when we get back on our feet. Yeah.